This is Monday morning. I think it's somewhere around the 30th, maybe Halloween. I'm confused on time because of the dust that's right in my face. And you'll see what I mean here in a few minutes when the next plank hauler comes through. But what he's doing back there is, there was a stand of trees just beyond our property lines. And they came through, I think it was last Sunday morning, and wiped it all out. There's another pile that has died. And let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. Sorry, I'm having sun's in my eyes. But anyway, he's over there piling the trees up that would have been a stand of trees that might have protected us. That's part of construction, you know, you're supposed to protect the adjoining neighbors. But they came through and destroyed it all. And if you look beyond what was a stand of trees, it's wide open land. You know, so if they had moved their easement a simple 50 feet, our trees might have protected us from some of the dust. And maybe just a little bit of the noise, because they claim trees can block the noise of this beep, beep, beep. 7 days a week, from about 7 in the morning until whenever they decide to quit. And look at him carry that big old pile of trees. Pile them up so the snakes and the rodents can get in them. And I can only imagine here before long they're going to track that mulching machine back here, because they got 3 or 4 of them on site now. And them things are one loud, unbelievable machine that dust you with wood chips and the diesel fumes that come from the machine. You know, the blue blooms over the world. And the property I'm standing in is my neighbor. You know, she's a cancer survivor. Do you think they come and ask her, hey, is this dust going to interfere with you? Is this noise going to interfere with you? You know, do you have any illnesses that this might affect? No, they didn't come ask nobody. They probably sent her a little public notice saying, oh, it's just a little natural gas transmission line. There'll be no disturbance. It won't bother you a bit. Well, from my understanding, this is supposed to finish up sometime in 2017. And it's October 2016. So undoubtedly we get to deal with this for a while, because this is just the prep work for installing or constructing a pipeline or a nice trail, you know, the Sable Trail, where you might want to go walk. Well, I promise you don't want to live nowhere near this, because this is seriously 7 days a week. A lot of my video comes out on Sunday, you know, when I'm trying to rest, you know, the day of rest. But it's kind of hard to rest with this right in your backyard. It's nice sounds, good sound effects for the horror movie of the destruction of everything in its path. And this particular section of the Florida Southeast Connection Pipeline, which starts at the Sable Trail Reunion Compressor Station, this section right here, they started out basically along an existing easement, you know, high power line easement that has a I believe a petroleum pipeline, and it may even have a natural gas pipeline already there too, but it's an existing easement, and they would have had a straight shot if they had just stayed along that. But they decided to take a hard right and head south down 1792, and that put them going through multiple wetlands, to where if they had stayed on that existing easement, that was already built up, easement already there, so they would have saved the money of buying or eminent domaining all these properties that they took, spending some of we the people's money, taking lands, claiming they're compensating them well for it. But they could have avoided all that if they had just stayed on that existing easement. But that existing easement, I'll get to a video showing different sections, you know, the parts I can get to, show it going right through 2 gated communities. But no, they decided to come down 1792 the unincorporated part of Polk County instead. And it put a whole bunch more road crossings in it because they zigzag back and forth across 1792 to do it. All of that comes at an additional expense, a lot more of the directional drilling or the hydraulic fracturing, you know, on the small scale. Plus, it put him going through a whole lot more wetlands, because where he's at right now is not a wetland. It's got wetlands on either end of where he's at, but it's not wetlands. But they destroyed the bluff of trees that would have protected us, as well as this is not the most direct route. And I'm gonna find a way to stay off of their work zone and get down to where that high power line existing easement that they're headed for. They just went off the easement, created a new easement through eminent domain to come down through the poor neighborhoods, you know, the working class neighborhoods. And they chose this route, but it's going right back to that high powered line so it can head on south through basically the Poinciana area, some of the orange groves that exist in Polk County. And just the dust of him tracking around is pretty bad. And today, the wind is coming kind of towards us. But dust can travel for thousands of miles on the wind, you know. So while the Florida Department of Environmental Protection claims to be protecting us, they allowed them, through the approval process and the design of their route, to take down these trees that do and would have acted as a protector, you know, for the residents on this side of their work zone or their easement. It's very frustrating to be standing here in my community watching this destruction, especially as a utility contractor. You know, I know in the areas that I worked in, you know, housing subdivision, we couldn't do certain things. And again, there is no silk fencing up anywhere. There's no silk fencing that I've seen in and around the wetlands that are off of 1792. You know, they have put a lot of it up since my earlier videos, but nothing back here. You know, they're building their planks or their bridges across our wetlands and through our wetlands that them planks are stacked 2 to 4 foot high, which means them planks or them absorption pads are down in the water. And believe me, when you stick them things in there, you're stirring up the water and it's still contaminating the water because those absorption pads are covered with all kinds of grease and shit. We have the right to breathe clean air. There's also something called noise pollution, called this beep, 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 and just the sounds of the tracks and the banging and the booming. And there's the Clean Water Act. But you know, the fracking industry has exempted themselves from all of those nice little acts that are our protections. But who's gonna make them abide by any of it? Who's gonna make them water down this area so they don't dust us each and every day? You know, people that already have cancer, already have lung problems. Yeah, we need this, like we need a damn hole in our head. Just the dust from him stacking them up isn't very nice stuff. You know, the county and the DEP and the EPA and all them fancy departments that we so kindly pay for, they call it particulate matter. Well, when you are required to breathe, you know, you have to breathe, or while you're breathing, particulate matters. You know, the particulates that are in that, God only knows what's all in that. And y'all probably won't see me again after this unless I pull out of my subdivision and there's something really exciting going on in the pipe trail land, because I'm back to work, back out of communication because of lack of internet service and all that techno stuff that I can't figure out how to get when I'm out of town. But I'm waiting on the dust machine to bring in some more planking, but I don't hear him coming yet. So I'm gonna pause this and see if he comes back by here in the near future.